Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch with some knitting and crochet. Today I am in a different location because it's too hot in the second story of this house. So here in Michigan, it's low to mid 80s with some pretty high humidity, and it's supposed to be like this for at least a couple more days. And so there's no way a video is going to be filmed up in that room. So here I am. I have some crochet, some knitting, and some purchases to show you. And I know it's been a while since I've been here. Life just kind of got in the way. I can't remember all of the circumstances, but I know last weekend we went camping. And then the previous weekend, I just flat out ran out of time. I just had no time to film a video. So I have a couple of things to show you. It's probably not as much as what you would think, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna pull things out of this bag and talk about them as I pull them out. I didn't spin the wheel on this one for my whips as I've been doing. I did get kind of sick of that as I kind of predicted in my last video. So I just pulled this out. This is Folk Art Christmas by Artisy. It's a freebie pattern. I believe that you could still get it on their website. And here we are. And I have no idea what the lighting is like in this room, so I do apologize if things are hard to see. If you have any questions about anything, let me know and I can send better photos via email, okay? So I had all of this done here, the reindeer and the trees down, and I had just barely started this red band going across, and I got the red done, and then I started to fill in the green, and that's how far I got. And that was about 1,000 stitches that I put into that. Just a little bit more. It looks like I have 2 more spots to fill in with the green. There's 4 lighter green stitches inside of each one of those, and that section is complete, and I can move on. Okay, I don't know, I think this is just off-white. It looks like 16 or 18 count Ada. I'm not really sure at this point. I think I started that last year and I don't keep very good notes. So, sorry. Okay. One of my new starts for June was Legendary Girls by Tumbleweeds, which is an offshoot of Little House Needleworks. So I was going to start this. They do use Classic Colorworks, but I'm using the DMC conversion. Stitching on 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed myself. My goal is on all my new starts is 500 stitches, and this is how far I got. And I don't know how many stitches I got in here, but they go really quickly. So I'm happy with the progress on that. I have a string here that's driving me crazy. This fabric has a little piece cut out of it, and all of these strings come out and then they just stop right here because of the cut. It's crazy. So I do believe that this one will be a fast stitch when it comes up again. I can just get some good progress on it. I only stitched on it for the 500 stitches so I could move on to the next project, but if I was stitching on it for say like a week or until I got sick of it, I think I could get some pretty good progress on it. Okay, this was my other WIPGO start for June. Stitching this on, I think, some kind of 14 count natural, 14 count oatmeal, or something like that. And this is Love Ya by La Di Da. And it's just the alphabet numbers and a whole bunch of little hearts. That's it. Now, it did take me about 4 days to finish this. My first day that I was stitching it, I was going really fast, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. No, I don't know why, but it took me quite a long time, but I did get it done. So add that to my stack of finishes for the year. It's helping keep my number down. And this one, so excited to show you this one. This is Jurassic Park. When I got sick of the wheel, I was actually talking to a coworker and I said, I just want Jurassic Park to come back up on the wheel. And then I got home from work and I said to myself, I said, that's silly. Why wait for it to come up on the wheel? If that's what I want to work on it. And I worked on it until it's finished. So it is 100% complete. I got this done in just a few days. I just had to fill in the black. There's a little bit black. Do the borders and then do inside the letters. And that was all I had left to do. I did have, I think, a little bit of orange up here. So this is stitched on 28 count white Monaco with the called for DMC. I believe it's by Stitch Area on Etsy, so you can go ahead and get it. I'm really hoping that maybe, which I should probably send her an email, I'm hoping that she might do the logo to the Jurassic World as well, because that would be really cool to have the Dominion logo alongside with the original logo. But that's just me being kind of dorky. Okay, Alice in Wonderland had come up on the wheel a second time before I gave up. I did not get the 500 stitches in. I think I got 70. To be honest, I got 70. Let's see. And it's in the cat, because I'm like, okay, just get this cat done. But I did not even have the motivation to do that much. I still have a white string hanging. This is stitched on 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed. And I just stitched a little bit more on the cat. I think I finished his tail and maybe started some more white stitches. I can't even really tell you because I stitched them and threw it aside. I had no motivation. So that's the section that I worked on and where I am so far. This is by Owl Forest Embroidery. It was a free stitch along. They do a stitch along every year. And this is from a couple years ago. So I will get it eventually. I just think that I was getting sick of the wheel telling me what I was going to stitch. And sometimes I'm fine with that, but I think I was just getting antsy, and so I wanted to do something different, and I think that's why I had to move on. Now, Owl Forest Embroidery does do their own threads, but they also include a DMC conversion, so that way, you know, because they are in Russia, so that you don't have to order. Okay, this one came up too. This one is the heart silhouette. I always thought it was a freebie on the website, Charting Creations, but it's not. It's in their Facebook group. So if you want, they have so many freebies that they give just inside the Facebook group that they don't give elsewhere. I'm going to have to sit back a little, I think. This is big. This is on 20 count Murano. And I'm going to say it like this. I believe this term is wrong, but I'm going to say it anyways because that's what was on the tag. 20 count Murano Lugana. I think Murano was a previous term and Lugana has taken its place. So I think it's redundant. But I'm stitching it on 20 count, and when I first started this project, it didn't even dawn on me to do over one. I'm using 2 strands over 2, so it's like 10 count. It's super crazy, so it makes it super big, but I really like it. So I think I put in just under 300 stitches, and I was working up here to finish the top of this, the heart on this side. But again, I can't take this one to work just because it's so big. The fabric is just, it's just big. So it's smaller than the Alice in Wonderland, or Alice in Wonderland is slightly smaller than this one. So I did get a little bit into this one. I am probably approaching 50% on this. It's like I said, though, it's just difficult because the fabric is so large. And if I had thought about it when I first started it, to do over one, then I could have cut the chunk off and had some left over, but I didn't. And then I'm like, well, I do like the way that it looks, so I'm just going to keep going, but it just doesn't, it does make it cumbersome. Okay, this is actually a part of my purchases, but I started it, so I'm going to show it to you. It's a Mill Hill kit. It's Nativity Trilogy, and this one's Mary. Oops. Mary. It comes with everything you need, including needles. I literally got 1 strand of floss in it. I didn't even tie it off yet. And on this, the instructions tell you to use 3 strands. This is 14 count perforated paper. I've never stitched on it before, but it seems pretty easy. However, with 3 strands, I don't stitch with 3 strands on 14 count, but I'm doing it because that's what the pattern's telling me to do. And I started in the middle. That's where my cross stitch store, she said what she does is on the back, she finds the very middle, marks it with a pencil. She said, you're not going to be able to see it anyways, and start there. Well, I did that, but then I had to come down with the color that was in the middle, the color of her dress or her skirt. And my stitches just don't look the best. So, oh well. And in my purchases, I'll show you something else and talk about that later. $8.90. Oh, this came out of the reindeer. Oopsies. One of the last videos I did, I was talking about a full skein of 310 that I found, and I thought I threw it in the Jurassic Park, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I searched and searched and searched, and then I went back up there look for something else, and there it was on the floor. It fell out of the Jurassic Park bag the whole time. Okay, I think we're down to some knitting that is left in the bag. I made a gauge swatch. This colorway is called Beauty School Dropout from Lolo Did It. And it is for a sweater called Brunswick by Olive Knits. And I bought this yarn in 2020. My husband picked out the colors, and I said, you know what? It's about time for me to get my butt started on some of these sweaters up there, especially since Michigan has another yarn crawl coming up at the end of July. And so I made the gauge swatch. I measured. I believe I'm off on gauge and need to go up a needle size. Plus, I think for this particular sweater, the fabric is too dense anyway. So I need to go up a needle size, but I haven't washed this yet to confirm. It's been sitting here for like 2 weeks and I just haven't done it. So lazy. But I have been plagued with headaches again. I went to the doctor. She thinks she knows, she thinks she has a clue of what's going on. So hopefully we can move forward. But I go back to her in a couple weeks. So pray that that's what was the culprit and nothing too serious is wrong. Thanks. The last yarn crawl I got, I don't know what I did with the ball band, but it's Fruits by King Cole. And this particular one is called Strawberry, is the colorway. I have all of this left over. I actually put it into 2 because when we went camping, I said, I don't take cross stitch camping because I don't wash my cross stitch. And if it gets smelling like campfire, then I'll be upset because I don't wash. So knitting is perfect to take with me. So what I did is leading up to my camping trip, I took 2 9-inch circulars in US size 2. And I got the cuffs ready. So then I can knit the whole rest of the socks on the camping trip. And I didn't get it all done on the camping trip. I finished it on Monday after work, and then a little bit on Tuesday. But they are done. So here is what the colorway looks like. It's pink and red, green, and then a very pale pink. And I think it definitely represents a strawberry. I did discover that when I was picking up my stitches on the one side, which is the very, well, I don't know. This side here, I don't know if you can see it, but I have a hole, and I noticed that I did the same thing on the second sock. And so I'm trying to like be cognizant of what I'm doing and why that's happening. Another thing that I did, I was so close to having these match. And I don't necessarily think that it was me. I think it was the dye process. I think some of the colorways were a little bit longer or shorter than the other because I'm only about a row, maybe 2 rows off, if that, on the cuff. And it doesn't seem like it would make that much a difference on the toe. But another thing that I did is I looked up the directions for the toe of where to put the decreases. And then I closed it out on my phone and then went to town. And my decreases are wrong. Traditionally, you do the decrease stitch, a stitch, a stitch, a decrease stitch. So then it makes like this little band, and I forgot the stitches in between the decreases. So there's not necessarily anything wrong. It's just they don't lay as flat as what they should, I think. It makes like a ridge. I don't know if you can see the texture, but it makes like a ridge instead of being flat. So I realized that when I finished the first toe, so I made the second toe exactly the same so that way they would match. So I did technically mess up on purpose because I wanted them to match. Okay, now purchase. Oh, one more. Yesterday was July 1st, today's July 2nd, so I had, this month we actually have 3 WIPGO projects, and this is why. 13 is the middle space on the board, which generally is a free space in bingo. Well, Jessie Marie, the person that runs WIPGO, she said you can either use it as a free space if you want and just take a breather, or you can use it to make an extra project to get extra progress. I use it as a project. So this month I have 3. One of the ones that came up is this, and it's just a freebie heart by Tiny Modernist from 2019, and I started it yesterday and finished it today. It's 685 stitches, and I got it done. It uses 5 different colors. You can't tell because 2 of the colors are very, very close together. I'm contemplating putting back stitching on it to separate the little sections, but I'm kind of done with it, and maybe I'll just leave it and just be done, because that's probably what I'm gonna do. Okay, now on to purchases. So I was at my local needle workshop. I got Mary, and then I got Mill Hill Nativity Trio Joseph. She was all out of baby Jesus, but don't worry, it's available. I'm getting baby Jesus. She's gonna order it for me. And just so you know, my local needle workshop is Stitch in Time in Saginaw, Michigan. They do not do online. They only do in-store. If you call them, they will mail something to you if you need them to, but they don't do anything online. So I got these 2, waiting for number 3. I'm not sure if I necessarily like the perforated paper, but for this particular trio, I will get it done because I want handmade ornaments for our tree. Okay. I also have some flosses that I pulled in here for a project. I bought some flosses. Oh, here's another one. I was gonna say there was one more. I bought some flosses, and these are for the office, and it's round, and I can't put any pictures in because it'll make the file too big and I won't be able to do it. But it's from Stitch Area on Etsy, so go check her out. And then I was going to use, and you're not going to be able to see this fabric because of the lighting, but I was going to use 28 count white Monaco, but then I also have the Ruth Bader Ginsburg piece that I bought from Etsy to go on that piece of fabric. So when I saw this at my shop, my local shop, I got this, and it is called, oh, I think she took the tag off. Let me see. It is called Stone by Fiber on a Whim. And I really don't know if you're going to be able to catch. It's very, very subtle modeling, and it's kind of like a pale gray blue, almost like toward the white side. So I thought this would be good for the office, just to give it a little bit of dimension behind the little pieces of stitching. And what it is just little mementos from the TV show The Office. So there's like a mug that says World's Best Boss, because he uses that, and there's a Dundee in there and things like that. So I got the floss and I got some fabric, and that actually came up on on WIPGO, so I have to start that soon. The other start for WIPGO is another freebie. It's from Snowflower Diaries called Autumn is Here. So I'm gonna start that, and it probably has 800 to 900 stitches in it, so I'm just gonna do the whole thing. The last thing that I purchased was I needed a color for the little heart by Tiny Modernist. So we went to Joann's, and this weekend, because of 4th of July, they're doing doorbusters and everything, and red clearance items were take an extra 25% off. Well, I noticed that this particular box of floss had the color that I needed. It was clearanced out and then 25% off. And I did the math on my phone really quickly, and it equaled about 42 cents a skein. And then I'm like, well, what about this one? This one has 36 skeins in it. It was also on clearance, red tag clearance with the 25% off. And I did round my order up to donate the extra change. So it equaled about 47 cents, I think, a piece, if I'm remembering correctly. It's 66 skeins of floss. So there are duplicates between the two. There's about 8 skeins that are duplicated in both, but generally, I mean, one has 30 and one has 36. So that means there's a lot of other ones, and some of these I don't even have. And that's how I made the decision. Like on this one was 3325, 3756, which I do think I have, 3803 and 3822. I don't think I have any of those except for the 3756. And that's in a project in Lady of the Flag, I believe. And then this one had 3326. I don't really have a lot of the higher, like in the 4-digit number ones. So I got these for a deal. And that's it. Oh no, one more thing. Sorry. I had the other bag on top of this bag. When I finished the strawberry socks, I thought, well, maybe I should knit some more of this yarn that I have up. I had this yarn, the red, white, and blue that I used for the flag scarf, shawlette thingy. And I said, you know, there's enough there where I can make flag socks. So I did start. I actually had the entire heel flap and turn done and was starting. The whole foot, the gusset and the foot and the toe were going to be the blue color. I had that started. I had the gusset stitches started, and then I noticed that I dropped a stitch. Well, where it was at, I could not effectively drop down and pick it up. At least with my skill level, I could not drop down and pick it up because it was right where you picked up the corner stitch for the gusset to go. Anyway, it's hard to explain. And I did not do a great job, so I said, oh my gosh, I have to just tear all this out. So I had to go back to where I ended to start. So it looks like I got one row done for the heel flap, and that's it. So I had to start over. But it's okay. So this is kind of in timeout just because I was like, but they'll get done. If I hadn't screwed up and had to rip out, I projected that I would have had enough time to get them done before 4th of July. But like I said, now they're in timeout. Okay, that really is all that I have to talk to you about. And I know that it's been a month, but Jurassic Park took up some time. And Artisy, the Folk Art Christmas I worked on that for a whole week. And then the socks over the weekend, and then making the swatch. This took me, I didn't work on anything for some reason, this took me 3 days. I have no idea. So I am excited about what's coming up. I'm excited to get started on the office piece, and I have a feeling that I may pick that up and not put it down. So I'm actually saving that for my 3rd WIPGO start for the month. I'm going to stitch on The Autumn Is Here first and possibly finish that one before I start the office. So I'm hoping to have quite a few things to show you by the time I come back on, would be the 16th, I believe, of July. Okay? I'm trying something new in the Mill Hill. I always tell you at the end, I hope that you found something to inspire you to pick up a WIP or maybe try something new. And technically it is cross stitch, but it is new, and it has beads in it. And I have done beads before, but this will be my first official project that calls for beads besides Lady of the Flag, but I'm nowhere near beads yet. So I hope that even though I haven't seen you in a week, what I showed you here today gave you inspiration to pick up a languishing WIP or maybe to try something new. And until I see you on the 17th,